Back in May, Pat Riley had his they call it let's just call it a State of the Union for the Miami Heat. You know, they all owners, speaking, talking heads for the teams do this. Pat Riley being the lead executive for the Miami Heat. He did this at the end of last year. It was right in the beginning of May. The Heat had just got bounced in the playoffs against the Celtics 4-1. And when people ask, where did all of this start? Jimmy Butler felt so entrenched in Heat culture. He just opened up his coffee shop in South Florida here. He's best buddies with Tyler Hero and Bam Adebayo. You always see him joking and laughing around, smoking Cuban cigars, playing dominoes. Like, where did the friction start? Well, it began with Jimmy not only deprioritizing the regular season, but also getting hurt in the first round, or really in the play-in, ahead of the first round last year of the NBA postseason, and then being loud on social media while his teammates in the Miami Heat, while the guys that are in that locker room that actually have to suit up and play were getting ready to play basketball games, Jimmy was on social media. Remember that? Trolling the Boston Celtics.
Of course, thinking it'd be different if I was on the court.
Yeah, saying things like that, tweeting out the picture of Jaylen Brown, talking about all we need is just one after the Heat won a game. Like, he's trolling actively as if he's not an active NBA player who is sidelined with injury. That caused, when the Heat did eventually lose to the Celtics 4-1, that caused Pat Riley to go absolutely off on Jimmy Butler following the season. Do we have the sound from Pat Riley? Here it is. Just take a listen, because it wasn't all of the other stuff. Pat Riley called Jimmy out for not playing enough games. He basically alluded that he would not be extending Jimmy Butler if he did not take a higher priority to the regular season as well as the playoffs. But it was this comment that I think drew the line in the sand that made Jimmy Butler more antagonistic against the Miami Heat. Take a listen.
If you're not on the court playing against Boston or on the court playing against the New York Knicks, you should keep your mouth shut.
That's Pat Riley, old school dude who you can understand. If you know who Pat Riley is, you can understand how he would feel that way. And you also, if you're a realist, you can kind of understand why he would say that as well. He's stuck in his ways. He's entrenched in that old school mentality, and he's no nonsense. If you're not out there playing, he's cool with you yapping. But you can't yap and not be able to back it up. And now you're sending your brothers out there with a target on their back when they got to go face the big bad behemoth that was the Boston Celtics that went on to win the championship. So you say something that specific, that almost demeaning and disrespectful to a guy like Jimmy Butler, who worked his ass off through JUCOs out of Tyler, Texas, as a second-round pick, as a not even a second thought, an afterthought on that Chicago Bulls roster when he first started off out there, with Derrick Rose being the saving grace, to elevating into superstardom. His climb to the top of the NBA is unlike many other superstars that we can think of in modern history. Most of them were AAU kids, pampered kids, first-round picks, Duke, North Carolina, Kentucky. Like, he didn't have that route. He got it out of the mud, and that's what made him so married to what Heat culture is. That's what made him and Erik Spoelstra and Pat Riley click so much. But you tell a guy like that to talk to another grown man like that, again, play it one more time again. This is Pat Riley back in May, early May, before this offseason, after he also said in this same speech, I won't be extending Jimmy Butler. Here he is telling that grown-ass man, 35 years old, proved himself against all the odds to shut the hell up.
If you're not on the court playing against Boston or on the court playing against the New York Knicks, you should keep your mouth shut.
That's where it started. And where we are now, January 3rd, about 8-9 months post that comment from Pat Riley, we are past the point of no return, because following the loss last night to the Celtics, here is Jimmy Butler when asked about his availability, when asked about how pleased he was to be playing within this Miami Heat organization after, for weeks and weeks, we've heard the trade rumor buzz. We've been speculating. We've had Shams put out reports, and Jimmy Butler's agents, spit on him pretty much. Remember that? Like, the Jimmy Butler's agent was like, hey, Shams is a ridiculous report. He was tweeting at him like he was a damn troll.
Yeah, and then that made Shams have to fire back and say, I've never been more convicted in a report than this random midseason trade rumor.
So Shams is having a field day right now. By the way, he should. He should, because I said it back then. Shams is right. Jimmy Butler's agent is he's full of baloney right now, and it's proven out because here's Jimmy Butler last night following the loss at the podium when asked about his future with the Miami Heat.
I want to see me get my joy back from playing basketball, and wherever that may be, we'll find out here pretty soon. But I want to get my joy back. I'm happy here, off the court. But I want to be back to somewhat dominant. I want to hoop, and I want to help this team win. Right now, I'm not doing that.
So Jimmy says that, right? He says, I'm happy here off the court. His lifestyle is good in South Florida. Who wouldn't be happy here?
Millions and millions of dollars in South Florida, I would hope.
Yeah. This guy's making $48 million a year right now. He's making $52 next year if he opts into his player option. Life is good. You got a coffee shop. I'm sure it's thriving. Big Face Coffee. Life is good in South Florida. But the past 2 games, first off, Butler, while in the midst of the trade, rumors, Butler sat out 5 games with a stomach illness. Okay. He comes back these past 2 games, a back-to-back against the Pelicans. That game, 9 points on 5 shots. After sitting out 5 games with a stomach illness, 9 points on 5 shots. He played a total of 25 minutes, CCAT, and with 3 minutes left in the third quarter, he sat on the bench and never got his ass back up.
They should have come up with a different injury than stomach illness.
Yeah, it just sounds fake.
If you miss 5 games for a stomach illness, it's got to be at least 2.5 weeks, right? At least 2 weeks.
It's about
a
week and a half.
You got a stomach ache that lasts 2 weeks. You go to the hospital.
It sounds like crap. It sounds like crap. It's almost like back soreness. Yeah, sure. Okay, stomach illness. And maybe his stomach was upset. And it lasted 5 games. But when he came back, 9 points on 5 shots for 25 minutes against the Pelicans. Last night, against the Indiana Pacers, a team that the Heat are better than. 9 points again on 6 shots in 26 minutes. And also, guess what, CCAT? How many minutes you think he logged in the fourth quarter?
0.
Absolutely none. So after the Pelicans win, the Heat reportedly were out there saying that Jimmy is quiet quitting, that he didn't give maximum effort against the Pels, and that kind of got out there. Here goes a guy that has famously covered the Heat for like decades now, Barry Jackson, with the Miami Herald. He says, he sent a tweet out a couple of hours ago that says, even though the Butler camp has been telling people the Heat threatened to suspend him after the Pelicans game, because again, there's rumors that he's been mailing it in, which I just read the stat line out. He's Jimmy Butler, back-to-back games with 9 points, a total of 11 field goal attempts in 2 combined games. I mean, the stat line says he's mailing it in. If you watch the games, it doesn't feel like he's invested or interested. So the Butler camp has been telling people the Heat threatened to suspend him after that Pelicans game, which the Heat are insistent that it's BS and that never happened. That's a tweet from Barry Jackson. I tend to believe that Miami, following the lack of effort against the Pelicans, probably did send a warning shot to Butler in his camp. It's not unfathomable. The same dude that told him you to shut the hell up if you ain't playing, you don't think that same guy would not send that kind of message to you if he feels like you're not giving maximum effort?
Of all organizations, there's only one that has a moniker culture at the end of it. Heat culture. There's the one place in the NBA that wouldn't fly, and it would be in Miami.
It would be in Miami. You don't let that ride in Miami. This is the house that Zoe built, that Hardaway took part in, that Udonis Haslem is so just embodied into the threads of this thing. Dwayne Wade uplifted so high. LeBron James played a huge part in. Shaquille O'Neal. This is not the place people rest on their laurels. You get rid of guys like that. So here we are at the impasse. And again, it's not about Jimmy wanting a trade. It's also not about the Miami Heat not wanting to extend a guy who's past his prime. And again, remember, Pat Riley looked D. Wade in the face, the guy that is the all-time franchise leader and goddamn everything. You know what I'm saying? Like everything that has a pulse in Miami, everything that has a statistic that Dwayne Wade was kind of eligible to get into, he leads it. He leads it. That's the reason why he has a statue outside of Kaseya Center right now. Pat Riley looked that dude in the face and told him to skedaddle because he felt like he wasn't worth the extension that Wade wanted. That's why Wade ends up going to Chicago and then Cleveland and then coming back to Miami. You think he's above doing the same thing to Jimmy Butler?